Oh hey, didn't see you there. How's it going? I'm Shannon here with another official Stogies review. Today we're going to be reviewing the Smok Guardian 3 pipe. In this ever-evolving industry, it could be hard to keep up with the latest and greatest in vaping technology and vaping needs, but fortunately for you, the viewer, we have your back. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, maybe share it with a friend. But without further ado, let's get classy. And we're back. So this is the Guardian 3 kit. It's a pretty nice little setup. I figured I'd show y'all a little bit about it at a glance so that you can get to know the outside of this device just a little bit better. So upon looking at it, the first thing I noticed is the sleek design, especially going up. It feels definitely more like a pipe than in previous editions. I really like that. Also with this micro TFV4, it's really nice and comfortable in the hand. It's not too back heavy, if you would. But it's a really nice setup. I'll get down a little bit further here in a minute. But I figured I'd show you everything about the device and what it comes with. So upon opening the package, what you're going to see is, of course, the sleigh holder for the little foam holder for the micro TFV4, and of course the e-pipe itself, or the pipe, however, which way you want to say it. When it comes to it, this is kind of important for you people who have children, and as we all know, children like to get into a little bit. I know when I was a child, I got into everything, but upon getting this device, you'll see that this is a silica gel packet. It says do not eat. There's really good reason behind that, guys, so be careful definitely when having these around. If you don't need it, throw it away or make sure that it's not in reach of children. Going a little further into it, you will notice that we have a guide that shows you what a qualified battery would look like to run in this device and what non-qualified batteries would look like to run in this device. We do not recommend using any of these. If they're tattered, beat up, torn, that type thing, we do not recommend it, and Smok does not recommend it. You will notice that the back says, well, if you can read it, do not use broken insulating skin batteries in all Smok products. Otherwise, we will not be held responsible for any damages caused by using substandard battery. So what this is saying, guys, is make sure you have your battery safety on point. You don't want to put anything dinged, beat up in the device and cause any issues. Battery safety is a very big thing here, and we like to make sure that everyone is safe. So be careful, guys, okay? Upon looking at it, of course, you got your warranty card with the quality assurance pass sticker, or stamp, sorry, not sticker, and Smok Guardian 3 kit instruction guide. So this is going to tell you everything you need to know about your device. Looking down further into it, of course you have an extension, because this does have a 5mm glass so that you can add this to your micro TFV, extend the tank capacity a little bit, and ultimately give you a little bit more juice so that you're not draining every few minutes or even an hour, you know. So that's always a plus. Upon looking further into it, I guess this decided to come loose, but it is an extra coil. Now this does come with a stainless steel coil, and if I'm not mistaken, a Clapton coil, and as I thought, I am correct. When it comes to the Clapton coils, I believe that's already put in, so this is going to be your dual core stainless steel coil. Really nice. I think that it's cool that everyone is starting to add an extra coil in with their product. And of course, if you have a micro TFV4 with your Guardian 3 kit, which everyone will, this, as most vapors know, can be a lifesaver. Put this around your glass. It'll prevent it from potentially taking a crack at the glass, if you know what I mean. You don't want to get your glass cracked, so we recommend putting on a vape band over any type of tank that has a glass tank. So that's always good with it. And then of course you have your update cable. This is not a charging cable. This is your micro USB update cable for your Guardian 3 kit. And if you would like, you can charge it through the Ego style twist-on charger. So all you would do is take this apart and then screw this on. Now, obviously if you have an allocated battery charger for your mods and devices, we totally recommend using any sort of 4-bay, 2-bay, single bay, or 6-bay charger that is a protected charge for your batteries. Of course, battery safety in mind. If you want to use it in this, that's perfectly fine. That is what the device is capable of doing. However, if you want to charge it outside of the device, that's perfect too. So either way, but we usually recommend taking the battery out and putting it on an allocated charger to charge your battery. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and put this all back together. I'll be right back, and we're going to go ahead and get in the guts and talk a little bit more about it, alright? Alright guys, so now it's time to get up close in the guts to show you a little bit further about the device. We're going to get into the menu, get a little touch on the tank, and show y'all what everything's about. So, the tank. I like to start with this first, especially with something like a kit. If you're doing separates, obviously, I'm going to show you the device and the tank, depending on the reviews. So, if you like the reviews, make sure like, comment, and subscribe. We'll get more out to you. Other than that, this is a top fill tank. It's on a swivel for the top, so instead of having to unscrew it like with the Triforce tanks or with other type tanks, all you have to do, pop it open. Of course, you have your fill hole right there. Now the fill hole is going to be allocated more towards the smaller tipped bottles and the eyedroppers. If you're really steady and you have a little bit of time with trying to get the round tip bottles on something like this, then I'm sure you'd be able to do it. But usually I like to recommend just getting the smaller tip bottles, so that you, maybe even a unicorn bottle, so that you can get all your juice in there without having to cause you so much of a headache. The airflow on it is nice and airy. I mean, there's airflow all the way around this guy, which is really nice. And I like the fact that they came pre-installed with a Clapton coil. I think that's really awesome of them. But we're going to go ahead and get in the menu. I'm going to show you what the goods and bads are of this device pertaining to the menu. So the way you turn it on, 5 clicks will turn it on. It says welcome. Of course, you have your hit, your battery, 60 watts is where I'm at right now, your ohm level, and then of course your voltage. The hit, I usually use it, wow, that's a tongue twister, at the hard setting. Max is a little too hot for me, so I don't use it at that. But the way that you would lock the device is 5 clicks to lock it. Unlike most devices, 5 clicks does not turn this off. 3 clicks will get you into the menu, which has, you know, your wattage up, your wattage down, what mode you want it to be in, whether it be temp or wattage. Bluetooth, of course, it's for the app. I'll talk more about that. Puff counter. This is the show the display if you want a little bit more simplistic or not. Settings, power. I don't know why they added the settings personally, because the menu is supposed to be allocated to settings, but I get it. There's a little bit more into this when it comes to all of that. You have your clock, of course, your brightness for the screensaver. There's a whole bunch of stuff in this guy. So when I was saying you have Bluetooth for the app, what I'm talking about is the Smart BEC app. They actually were kind enough to put QR codes on the side to make sure that this has everything that you need to get ready. Of course, with this though, it does not have a Windows Phone app. It just has the App Store and the Google Play app. So that's always a nice little feature to have, especially with these, because you can get a little further in depth. When it comes to customization, you can do it from your phone, which is really nice. But outside of that, we'll go ahead and show you a little bit more on this. So like I said, there's wattage up, wattage down. You have your modes, wattage or temp, Bluetooth, puffs, the display. Actually, I kind of want to touch on the display for y'all real quick. So there's a few different setups. There's normal, stealth, of course, blacks out the screen, as you can see. And then there's also a simple. So with the screen, it just shows you what the wattage is. You don't have to know too much on that. But I like mine having everything displayed, so I'm going to go ahead and swap that back to normal. And of course, when you notice, once it swaps back to normal, it swaps back to the way that it was. I personally like being able to see my battery. It does also show you when you have it locked. There's a little lock up there to display it. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock that. But a little bit more into the settings, since we showed you the screensaver when it's going to time out, that stuff. You can change your clock by going into this. It'll change the date, the time, the whole 9 yards, pertaining to anything that would have to do with your clock. Wattage up, wattage down. Like I said, it's pretty well laid out. There's a few of them that I wish they would just have like a little saying on the bottom telling you what it is. Like, most people's not going to know that this is going to adjust the initial ohm. I don't recommend using this personally. I haven't ever used it, mainly because it reads the ohm level of the coil. I think that that's the best way to use it. And then of course you have your power off, which if you wait, power off, yes, it then powers off the device. Five clicks turns it back on. Outside of that, when it comes to the hit level, like I was saying, you go into wattage. You can turn your wattage up or down. Or if you go into the modes, it'll say select a mode, watt or temp, depending on what coil you have. Strength, you can have max, minimum, soft, normal, or hard. I prefer hard because, honestly, I like to have a little bit stronger of a hit without burning my coil out or my mouth off. So hard for me is where it's at. With a puff counter, it's pretty simplistic. Do you want to clear your puffs? Yes or no? And then 22 has already been on. What's the max? You don't have to have a set maximum. You can put it, up to, I think it's 999. But honestly, if I can just clear the puff counter right then and there, there's no reason for me to change anything pertaining to that. So in the settings, we'll go a little bit further in that. You can change your screen contrast, which is a really nice feature. Personally, I like it the way it is, especially in the sunlight. It really doesn't bother me. I can still see it. Some people have problems with that, but when it comes to this device, it's pretty well seen. Of course, your screen is going to be normal, or you can rotate it. I personally like it facing me instead of facing out. It's just personal preference. Everything is subjective, guys. Keep that in mind. So I think that's pretty much it. There's not really much to the device itself. It is a really nice setup, personally. there's not really, I mean, the customization is pretty well off for this device, but it's not going to have the same customization as something like the X Cube 2, where you can change 16 million different colors on your LED button. Personally, I don't like the customization, over customizing things. So this for me is really, really nice. But I'm going to go ahead and take this back up to FaceTime and tell you a little bit about how it hits. And there you have it. What do I think about the Smok Guardian 3? I think it's a fantastic mid-range device. The fact that this is a single 18650 doesn't seem to mess with the battery life at all for me. With the TFV4, it's a perfect combo. The only issue I've found with it is, like I said, that swivel on that TFV4 top. Maybe you're not used to it. Maybe it's a little bit loose on it. You go to move something around, turn it up, the juice comes out. Outside of that, like I said, for 75 watts and being able to do temp control, it's a fantastic setup. But what did you think? What do you think that we should do for our next review? Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. And remember, America, vape on, vape strong.